All right, this actually is a story that intrigues me. We're going out to Edward Levine, president of Neumont University, on their success, believe it or not, of placing graduates in high jobs. This is an amazing little story. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Glad to be here.
Okay, so first, you have a 100% graduation rate. Is that true?
No, we don't have a 100% graduation rate from every student that starts, but we have an extraordinary graduate rate where a very high percentage of students who start with us ultimately graduate. And the cool thing about that is their vast majority are graduating within 2.5 years, just 10 quarters, or we like to say 500 intense days of education.
I graduated in 5.5 years, Edward, and I did not have a job waiting for me when I got my degree in hand. So what makes your school so much different than the other, the traditional state schools, and makes you so successful?
Great question. What we do is we start from the very beginning of the education, focusing intensely on making that connection between the student, the skills, both soft and hard skills that student needs, and the definition of those skills by employers. We take very seriously making that connection between employers and the outcome our students are going to get and the education that we provide while they're enrolled at Neumont.
But you got to believe that that's what most universities do, right? Especially the kids that are enrolled in the business programs, or I know your computer science program you can do in 2.5 years and come out with a bachelor's degree that is geared towards getting a job. I got to believe that's the goal of most universities.
Most universities, all universities are about education. Some are about educating around theory. We're about educating around the practical skills, and we like to be measured. We like those outcomes to be clearly measured, and we like to talk to incoming students and currently enrolled students about what's going to happen at the end of their education, and that is that we all have a clear goal. It's stepping out of Neumont and having 2 or 3 offers for really cool jobs that launch you into a career.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yes, sorry.
I was going to say I agree with you. I think academia plays too great of a role in some of these other colleges, and it isn't about preparing you for what you're going to do when you leave the schools. Have companies got involved with you at Neumont to sort of tell you, hey, this is what we want, this is what we're looking for?
Exactly. We can't do it without those companies that are intensely interested in being in line to recruit our students. So our secret sauce is that we have employer projects on quarter, every quarter, and for the last 3 quarters of their education, our students are working on real-life projects, projects that were assigned by IBM or Nike or eBay, and they're building real applications for those companies. What's cool about that is the employees of those companies get to look over the shoulder of the students, and it's like a 10-week interview. Each of those quarters is exposure for a student to a company and a company to student, and they can make their own match, and that's how we get these outstanding placement rates.
You have about 250 students right now, so you have a small student body. So are these kids then just very directed? I mean, I know I had no idea what I wanted to do in college. I was an liberal arts major. It was my junior year. I still didn't have a major. I guess this is a different group of kids.
You went to high school with kids like this, Tracy. These are people who are very interested in technology and are less interested in the amenities surrounding because they want to focus on an efficient path to that placement. So, the college experience is there. We're surrounded by beautiful mountains. We're right near a vibrant city, but their intense focus is on that love of technology and making that connection with that employer. So they're willing to work hard for 2.5 years, and they get a tremendous return on that investment of time.
All right, correct me if I'm wrong here, Edward. Geographically, you're located in Salt Lake City. As Tracy said, 250 students. Tuition cost,
correct,
$72,000 for the entire degree. Why don't you have 250,000 students? It seems like this is a no-brainer for a lot of kids coming out of high school.
It really is. It's a great program, and we are growing it. And, it's Right now, we have 2 degree offerings at the bachelor's degree level. We're going to be adding 2 more. The program is growing, and we don't aspire to 250,000, but this is definitely a neat model for education that's working for people on both ends, the student, the employer, and our employees are having a great time.
Edward, you were in corporate America before you came here. You worked for a design products company, so you were there hands-on. How has that helped you create this program for these kids?
Well, Neumont University, like other higher education institutions I've been involved with, is all about serving the student. Obviously, the student comes first. You have to wrap that student concern in a commercial package and make sure everything makes sense. So my prior experience with building companies and growing organizations has been useful, but what makes this stand out is the quality of the product. It's really a wonderful thing to be around.
It seems like that $72,000 for the entire degree is inexpensive. I mean, you're a private school, so you're not getting taxpayer money. How do you make ends meet with what seems to me like $72,000, 250 students, not a lot of money?
It isn't, and there is there's an element that you're not mentioning, which is our scholarship program. There are some scholarships that reduce that $72,000. That $72,000 is over 10 quarters. So our students apply for and are awarded, earn financial aid from various sources. It is an economical program, but you know, it's still a significant amount of money. It's an investment in their future. And you know, moms and dads, we all know, your other guests have talked about some of the things going on in America today that put pressure on all of us. So coming up with that is a very focused effort, and we find it's a great value for our students, but it requires that we manage Neumont efficiently and keep focused on our core strategy, which is all about making that connection between the student and their prospective employer.
Sir, quickly, we only have a few seconds, but then what's your ideal candidate?
Yeah.
What's his SATs? What's his GPS? Or GPA? Hello, GPS. What's the perfect kid that comes in look like?
The perfect kid is that kid who has a declared interest in technology, has got a little bit of experience, has a GPA in the 3 zone, and I'm sorry, what was the other question about that?
SAT scores.
As SAT scores, we look at SAT and ACT, so we're most focused on math. Somebody in the 500, 600, 700 range on the SATs and the 20s on ACT.
That's good stuff. I'm on the website right now. It's numont.edu, correct?
Numont.edu. We're easy to find, and there's some interesting supporting material there for anybody interested.
Edward, thank you so much for sharing your story. Edward Levine, president of Neumont University. Really interesting.